You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Fishing the DMV. I'm your host, Thomas Ahrens, and today we're heading back up to Pennsylvania and then guys, you know how good I am with acronyms. The Mid-Atlantic Kayak Organization, we're just going to go with that. We have the end of the year. It's over. And we have the winner of not only the Angler of the Year, but the Tournament of Champions on the big old Juniata River. Sir, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And Jake, I just did that for you, bud.
Yes, the Juniata. I'm going to start calling it that. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on, Tom. Should be fun. I always enjoy coming on.
Dude, this was a heck of a year, man. I mean, I really like the mindset of athletes, baseball, football, or fishing. And when you're doing something that's pretty awesome. And I always keep going back to like a perfect game. And if you're a pitcher, you understand by inning 3, 4, 5, like I'm doing a thing. And I've always been fascinated about how you don't get in your own way with the information. From the AOI standpoint, was there a moment in the season where you're like, oh man, I'm doing a thing?
So there's actually more than one. I mean, and one of them we actually already talked about on this channel with the Potomac event earlier this year. A lot had to go right on that. I mean, a lot had to go wrong to go right. Yeah, it was pretty wild. So that was definitely like probably a moment where I was like, okay, wait a minute. I think I might be able to do something now. Like that's kind of the turn I needed to feel like I was even in it. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't think I had a shot this past weekend. Like I was, I think in maybe second or third. Jordan was in first in the Angler of the Year points. And plus, like, to be honest, like I would say I'm fine on the rivers. I'm occasionally pretty decent, I would say pretty solid. It was a solid year. But like I'm not one of these river hammers like some of these guys. Like, I mean, I look up to them. I don't have a river boat. That's the other thing. That's probably the thing I'm most proud of about this win.
Really?
Like, I do not have a good boat for the river. Like, it's terrible. So like, that's probably the thing I'm most proud of in winning this. So, and a lot had to go right this past weekend, which we can definitely get into.
Well, I mean, going back to it then, after the Potomac River, like, where was your head at then when it just came from the year in general and where things were starting to shake out?
Yep. So I thought I had a shot, but I think the tough thing is I've never been able to do well enough on the rivers to really contend in something like, and to be honest, this is the first time I've actually fished the full series. I haven't often fished the river events as much, have been more lately, and I've been getting more comfortable. But yeah. So after the Potomac, let's see, we had, I think it was the Susquehanna after that. I went into that one with like no practice, just went off of some history things and just kind of gave it a go. Ended with a 6 in that, which was pretty solid. I was hovering around that 90-inch mark pretty much most of the year in multiple events, which for me is pretty solid. I mean, honestly, I think the best I've done on the Susky is like 92 something. Like I'm not a mega bag guy on the Susky. I don't even fish it like near as much as some of these guys. So
what would you consider your home water or the water you're most comfortable in?
And the stuff that we fished, probably the Chesapeake Bay.
Okay.
I've done the most there for sure. Now, I will say the Juniata is my home river. I've fished it more than I have the Susky, for sure. Me and my buddy Brandon, we did like a we did floats all the time, in previous years. So I have a fair amount of knowledge from that place from further back. But yeah, no, that I've been still learning the Susky, trying to figure that out. They're similar in some ways, but there's definitely some differences. And for me, I have to fish them differently, right? So like, I've had to learn how to fish them out of a kayak where I can't really fish upstream, which is something like, it's a major deal for a lot of river guys. Like, they're in these river boats where you're fishing upstream pretty much the whole time, and that's 100% ideal. And so I've had to kind of learn how to work around that. I have a slow boat. Like, it's, I think we talked about it a little bit. It's a little bit of a, yeah. It's an old, $600 kayak with a little, tiller on it. It's, like a little trolling motor on it. It's nothing special. So yeah, that's probably, I don't know if a kayak like that has ever won a river tournament. So yeah, no, that's definitely one of the things. So for me, to get back to like the river things though, like on the Susky, and what I had to start doing, what I started doing in the Susky is I would fish upstream, but only, so I would do floats, but then the areas that I would want to fish, I would work upstream in those areas. And it's much less efficient in some ways, but I would kind of pick and choose just certain little areas, whether it's fishing little grass islands, in the summer, whatever it is, working up those islands versus drifting down through them. But then still going down to your next spot versus working up. It's just the way I had to kind of work around it. So, but I mean, it worked out fairly well. I mean, the Susky tournament, I power fished that whole tournament, buzz baited everything, which was one of the most fun tournaments of the year for me, for sure. I mean, catching big smallies on a buzz bait is, as you know, I don't know, I mean, it's pretty wild. But.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And then guys, for you guys don't know, since I do have a computer, and I probably should have to begin with, the season was April. It was Conowingo, Upper Bay, Tidal, Potomac, back-to-back days in May. And then you had the Delaware Ponds, followed by the Upper Potomac in May. I think that one got a rain delay and got kicked down into June. And then there was the Susquehanna in July. So
okay. Yes, I did fish the Upper Potomac as well, which was my worst tournament of the year. Didn't fish the Delaware Ponds one. I missed that. Upper Potomac was super fun, to be honest. I'd never been there. I didn't really know what I was doing down there. I mean, it looked like a bigger Juniata in some ways. And I found a lot of fish, but I just never found the right quality. And the weird thing is, like, people around me were catching the better quality ones here and there. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've never caught that many fish on a big spinnerbait and not caught a big one. Like,
it was a great spinnerbait bite.
Like, I was shocked. Every time I would get a bite, I'd be like, oh, this has to be. And it would be another 15-incher, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, I don't know that river that at all. So, I mean, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but no, I didn't place well. I mean, they crushed them in that tournament, though.
They did. Huge shout out to to Shane Crawford, who broke, I think it was like 104-inch. It was something just preposterously stupid for that river. But you did enough to survive, and you didn't completely destroy your AOI standings going into the Susky.
So that one actually got canceled because it's only top 5 finishes. So I was able to cancel out that one as well as the Conowingo, because the Conowingo ended up in 11th. So I think the top 5 finishes would have been Chesapeake Bay, just the Tidal Potomac, both those. I think first and 7th, and then
Susquehanna 6th,
and then this last one, Tournament of Champions. So those are the 5 that actually went towards AOI. But yeah,
that's pretty cool. Then you can drop all those low finishes like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely helped. It still gives you a shot, at trying to compete if you're not doing as well on a couple of them. And it's also just like more practical. I mean, most of the guys can't make every single tournament. Like I couldn't make every tournament this past year, and it just gives you an opportunity to still compete for it without being forced to fish all of them.
So going into it with the Juniata, what were you expecting condition wise going into this event? At least in my area, the Upper Potomac right now, we're in a big drought. Shenandoah Valley, same thing. Everything's super bad. Is that the same thing up in your neck of the woods?
100%. Yeah, it's low and clear. I mean, you're out of the kayak here and there, portaging. Like it's yeah. I mean, it condenses the fish quite a bit. And to be honest, if I had to choose conditions, it's probably the conditions that I'm most comfortable in. I just for my kayak for one, controlling the boat easier. I'm not flying down the river. Boat control's a lot easier for me. Plus, I love sight fishing. That's probably one of the things that I might do different is I stand a ton. Like I'm standing pretty much the whole day, looking for fish, and then I'm finesse fishing. I've finesse fished this whole tournament pretty much. I know some of the guys made it, did well power fishing, but I pretty much just got in areas and like ground it out.
For people that aren't familiar with the Juniata, how would you describe it? Is it as wide as the Susquehanna? Is it more like the Shenandoah River or the Upper Potomac? Like how would you gauge it?
It's definitely not as big as the Susquehanna. Fish is similarly, I would say it's slightly smaller than the Upper Potomac.
Okay. So you can throw a baseball across it almost.
Depends in what spot you're in, but in some areas, yes.
Okay. With that said, were you worried about pressure at all? Was it something where, depending on where you are, you're going to have a lot of competitors?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, first day, I'm headed to my spot. Charlie Rustler's in front of me, and he's flying in front of me, and I'm losing sight of him. He's gone. He's got that motor. He's flying. And then I get down there, and to be honest, I went pretty much straight down to my first spot, and it was a good solid 2.5, 3 mile stretch. So I didn't fish for the first over an hour. Yeah. So I was just motoring down to that first spot, and I got there. I fished for maybe an hour, and someone had come up from the bottom, which the next closest ramp is another 3 miles down. And someone had gotten up there. It was Shane, actually, Crawford. He had gotten up there, and I know he even fished up there, but I was amazed at how these guys were getting over some of these ledges with some of them had like the Osprey, and, like they were jumping these ledges. Like I was what is happening? It's not happening for me, So he got up there pretty early, and I was like, wow, like I did not really expect to see someone coming up into that spot in the morning, like considering how far up it was from the ramp. But there he was, and we both I think he caught a fair amount of his fish in there as well. We kind of had a school of fish in one kind of pool in between two ledges that we were both fishing. And he definitely caught some of his. I caught my two biggest in there as well. And that's pretty much where I did everything on the first day. But
was it just you and him sharing that hole, or were there more?
No, I think Mickey came in at some point a little bit. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it could have gotten absolutely wrecked. I mean, I think even Charlie might have. I'm not sure. I know he came down through there. I don't know how much he fished in there. Mickey kind of gave it to me a little bit, though, once he knew I was in there, because he wasn't really in the running at all. So
Is that normal for the river to be that kind of condensed like that, or is it just how that tournament kind of ended up?
Um, we had a 40-mile stretch, and it just so happens that a few of us were on the same stuff. Like there was a lot of water that I'm sure had no one on it, and I know there was water that got untouched because I will get to this on the second day, but I did find some of that water at the end. But I mean, there's definitely some better quality schools. Like I went through an area that I don't know if the Upper Potomac fish is like this, but there's just areas that hold bigger fish. And like I went through one area that I don't like, it was a massive school of smallmouth, but they were cookie cutter 13 to maybe 16. Like, and I didn't see any of the quality. And I'm like, I'm not even wasting my time. Like I can't mess around. And even if there would be that random one, maybe bigger 18 plus, like the chances of you catching that one out of the school, you need to find an area that has a better class in general, even if there's less of them.
Did you pre-fish?
No. I didn't. I have a fair amount of experience on the Juniata, especially this time of year. Like I said, me and my buddy have fished it. We've done floats through. I fished one section. It's like we fished like 110-mile section. It's the lower kind of area. It's closer to my house. And that's really all I've fished. I've never even fished that 30 miles above it. It's just too far for me. I'm like, I'm not going to just go explore the whole thing unless like we don't have a lot of tournaments there. It's not like
fair.
It's, a massive tournament destination other than MAKBF here and there. And maybe sometimes the Slay Nation guys will go there, but it's too small for like a giant tournament. Like sometimes they'll open up some of the Susquehanna tournaments and you can fish the Juniata a little bit, but yeah, just depends. Yeah.
So you're going based on history when you launch for day one. You get day one, you get to your first spot. You got Shane, who's a hell of a stick on the Upper Potomac, fishing this area. Like, how was your day one going? I mean, clearly, guys, spoiler alert, day one, 91 inches. Was it hot and heavy early, or was it a grind to get to that ending?
Yeah. So I didn't catch a fish for a little bit.
What's a little bit?
Well, so probably an hour. I didn't fish for the first hour. And then I hit a couple things before I got down to the area that I really wanted to fish. None of them produced. I tried to power fish a little bit and it was coming up empty, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Then when I had these two areas in mind because I had been there in the fall before, literally the exact time frame that we were in the exact conditions. So I knew kind of how they were going to set up in general. I know what they want to do, especially in those conditions. So I knew that at least, when I had been there last, the quality was there. I remembered the quality from there. So I was going to spend a lot of time in that area kind of regardless. And because it was so clear, I started just kind of fan casting around the area, picked up a couple small ones. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to start just looking around. And that's when I just got on the trolling motor and just started looking through that section. And basically I found them, spooked them, obviously. It's low and clear. They get super spooky. But because there isn't a lot of pressure at that point on the first day, they were setting up fairly quickly again. They wouldn't just freak out.
How deep we talking?
I would say, so there was a little gut in the one area that I was fishing, that was kind of where they were going back to, like that kind of, shelf rock that kind of creates these little guts sometimes. Susquehanna has this a lot. So you kind of have like to picture it like kind of clump rock closer to the bank, maybe, and then you get these shelves out further. So there was some of that in there, and I would say it's 5 to 6 feet, maybe at the deepest, which to be honest, that's a significant depth in the Juniata right now.
Yeah.
There's deeper holes, but that's plenty for them. And so I go upstream looking, trying to see them before they see me. I see they're a little shallower because I had been fishing the deeper area, and I saw them kind of scooting off from the shallow area, like up in 2 feet, in that kind of chunk rock. So that kind of clued me in a little bit the first day. They were kind of up there. I think probably just crawfish. I didn't see much for bait fish around. So I ended up seeing several of the fish that I actually caught. The first big one I caught, I eye spied him. I was close to the bank and I eye spied him. He was just kind of swimming down, kind of looking at me. He got out of sight and I just flick a cast back and boom, I was shocked. I'm like, okay, all right, 20 and a quarter right there. Bam. Like he wasn't, I thought I had kind of spooked him, but evidently not. So they weren't as pressured at that point though. Second day was much tougher. So, the first day, I caught a fair amount of fish in there. Lost one that would have put me on the first day over 93, close to 93. But I had an absolute train wreck at one point. I had, I think, 2 really good ones at that point, and I catch one that's 18 plus, and I got him, and I fished super clean the whole weekend except for this fish. This is an absolute train wreck. Anyway, so I go to get him in the net, and well, there's a hole in my net, just big enough for a fish to get through. So I literally lift him into the net. The hook comes out, but I got him in the net in the boat, right? The fish goes into the net, through the hole, and out the other side of the kayak. And I literally just melted inside. I'm thinking to myself, if this ends up costing me, or that could have been a critical loss right there, and that was just a stupid, how do I have a hole in my net? How stupid is that? So that was the only fish I actually lost though. That would have really helped me that I know of. I think I missed one other bite the whole weekend.
So did you get all 91 inches just in that one hole, or did you have to just kind of bounce around to get to it?
So there was a steep ledge. There's kind of it's deep right below it as well. It kind of has that fast, water going through it. It's a 2 foot drop almost. It's a pretty significant little ledge. I did catch one right below that, another 18 plus. And that was actually the last fish that helped me for the day. So pretty much everything was in that one area above the ledge, pretty much on the first day, and then below the ledge, just the one fish. But that spot gets a little more pressure just because it's a little more obvious below a ledge like that.
Well, and as you mentioned, you had 2 other big time sticks in the area as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We were not alone. Yeah. So that was the day one pretty much. I spent most of the day after that. Once I already had 91 and a half, I think it was, I wasn't as concerned about trying to upgrade at that point. I knew I needed more fish for the next day. So I kind of was trying to look around, trying to see if I could, and trying to mark stuff. I don't bring, any crazy electronics. I'll bring my unit just to mark things, so I can go back to those specific spots and know it's there, or fish them without actually having to get on them.
What were you looking for? Were you looking for something specifically in the water, or just marking fish, literally just marking fish as you passed them?
So some of sometimes you'll get a stretch where there's like I would say, you got 3 to 4 feet deep enough, and you'll get boulders, big boulders in there. It's kind of just rubbly, and then a big boulder, and those big boulders do sometimes have a big one on them. And so I was basically just going down through either marking boulders I thought looked really great, or I mostly just marked fish though. Like if I saw a fish on it, I would mark it.
Smart.
I didn't see a whole lot of that, to be honest, because it got cloudy and a little bit windy in the afternoon. Unfortunately for me, I would have liked to be able to have seen more. I was struggling with being able to see at that point. So the afternoon wasn't. I didn't get a lot out of it. Plus, I wasn't in like good areas to actually do that in during the afternoon. But I had a couple little spots that were a maybe, but nothing. I really didn't have much going into day 2.
So then when you got back home
Mhm.
at the end of day 1, you have 91 inches. You're able to kind of guts and nuts together.
Yep.
What was your thought process? Just then fish new water going into day 2, or go back to the same areas and hopefully get blood from a rock, so to speak?
Well, so I messed around and wasted about an hour before I got to that spot in the first day. And it really just didn't give me a lot of time to do much further down. There's kind of a dead section that I had to get through. It's like almost a mile long of just not much of anything. I had some stuff down below that, down where I was taking out, that I wanted to fish, but I didn't give myself any time on day 1. So the plan was, I'm going to start where I started, see if I can make magic happen again, and really all I wanted at that point, I'm like, well, if I can get like a few, even just a couple good ones, right? I can figure the rest out, and we can just kind of piece it together, for the rest of the day, fish some stuff so I had some other areas in mind that I didn't even touch on day 1. I didn't get to, that I know, they're really good areas this time of year. And I've seen the fish stacked up in these certain areas. I hadn't touched it. I didn't know if anyone else had been there, but I didn't really know for sure. But I had other things in mind that I could go to if my first stuff, didn't work out. I was just going to make a beeline downstream, and hopefully I had enough time to make it happen, But that was the plan. It's hard to when you catch 220s back to back, it's hard not to go back. It's tough. And I saw a lot of, good quality fish there.
So then day 2,
Yeah.
you launch. Walk us through the day. What happens?
I went flying down as fast as I could, Charlie's still leaving me in the dust, but I'm, going as fast as I can.
So again, launching, Charlie's there. Is Shane there too?
Well, Shane came up from the bottom though. Remember, he's at the launch below. So he's going from the bottom. I'm coming down from the top. And then Charlie's also going. So Charlie ended up fishing above where I fished. And he did really well, actually. And he power fished, which blew my mind. I'm like, I don't know how you did that. But so I go down and I get there right around an hour, maybe slightly after. Yeah. So I was fishing by 8:30 pretty much. And I fished in that one spot for 2 hours, I would say. And small stretch. I went through there with a fine tooth comb. Caught some fish, I had a limit within probably an hour, but the quality, I caught, my second fish was good. I think I had a 17 something on my second fish. And then it was just tough. I was grinding for a bit. I did get a little bit fortunate. I ran into this fish on the bank that was just a log on the bank in maybe a foot of water, and it was just hunkered down under there. I cast up there like 2 feet from the bank, and it like the water just boils because it's literally no water there.
Wow.
And I'm like, there can't be a fish there. Like, what's going on, And there he was, an 18, and I forget, 18 something. So I had 2 good ones going out of that area, but that was pretty much it. I chased around the fish a little bit, and there was still a ton of fish in there. I know Shane caught some in there. I think Mickey might have caught one, but I couldn't, like, they were so spooky. Like, I ended up catching one more out of the main school, but like it was small. It was like a 15-incher, and like an 18 plus followed it in, and I'm like, dang, but it was like I just wasn't seeing as many big ones, and they were just acting super spooky at that point.
On that river system, do they pair up by size? Is it normal to call through a bunch of dinks to get to a bigger one? Or is if you pull up to a group on that river and you catch a couple of 13s, you're like, yeah, I'm just moving on, like in general?
Sometimes I've seen them group up by size. I've also seen them not. Sometimes there's a big one running in a school of smaller ones for some reason. I would say in general, I saw more of the same size class fish together though this past week. You'll still get your loners, and those big ones do get lonely here and there. Like they just want their rock, and you do have that. But yeah, I would say fair amount of the fish that I caught that were bigger, either they were loners or they were with other big ones. If that makes sense. Yeah.
What was the pivot then? When did you say, like, hey, I'm done with this spot?
10:30. I mean, I'm like, look, I can mess around, but I know I need fresh fish at this point. Like, I know that. And from my previous day, I had caught other fish in some of these areas right below it, the main area I was in, but I was like, there's no way. I just felt like it was a needle in a haystack, and I might get lucky and catch a bigger one in there, but it wasn't feeling right. Like, the quality, I didn't believe there was enough quality to really guarantee anything, right? So like, I made a pretty strong move. I fished a little bit below that main ledge that I was at, where I'd caught the one big one the day before. I think I caught another one there. I don't think it was that big. And then I went, like, I turned the trolling motor on high as much as I could, unless I had to portage, and then just went down, and got to where my takeout was, or right above it. And I was seeing, and this is an interesting deal, like, there's this big kind of open, big flat it's a winter pool, but the upper end kind of has a mix of grass and rock. And they feed up there. And I went through that area and I saw multiple schools of smallmouth. Oh, I should mention, I did stop at this one little ledge that I thought might have a fish. And this is kind of just a random fish catch, but it made a difference. I ran into a school of 4 bigger fish. But it was a spot that I knew Shane had crushed. I was almost positive. I don't know this but I know he had come up through there, and it's the first ledge that you run into, and there's a nice pull off to the one side, and I'm like, there's no way he didn't maul that area. And I saw a ton of fish in there, but I managed to just blind cast to one and catch one. I didn't even know it was there. It was an 18 something. And I saw 30 fish in that school, and that's actually the school that most of them were small, but there was this one little subsection that was kind of doing their own thing that was a little bigger. But then they were super spooky. Like, the tough thing is certain areas, they don't set up in the same spot once you spook them, right? And so like you can just, and especially if they have a lot of area to roam, like the one area I went to later, it's once you spook them, good luck trying to figure out where they went to. Like it's too big of an area to just then methodically fish through, because they could go a quarter mile away and you wouldn't know. Like you'd just be like, well, I think they were I mean, you can mark your spot and they're never coming back, and those fish are just cruising. Those are the ones that I tried not to get distracted with. It was hard not to, because I saw some really nice ones, but really hard to stay on those fish, in that one big pool that I got to. Then this is where the pivot came in. There's a winter pool that gets down 10 feet deep, maybe, at least. It's really deep for the Juniata. It was super sunny and slick calm, and I could see the bottom. And I saw a couple cruisers here and there. And I saw some big ones, and I ended up catching one that really, really helped. A big one, almost 19. And that they were setting up in certain, it was kind of like that ledge shale stuff down deep, and they would set up in these certain little spots. So I did go back to that fish and then was able to catch it. And so I actually messed around there. It got cloudy and windy, and I messed around there for, at this point, we're into the afternoon at this point. Like, I've got 2 hours left. And I've got, so after that fish down at the bottom, at that, where I took out in the deep pool, that was with probably an hour and a half left, maybe. It wasn't a ton of time. I end up messing around. I see a couple big ones that I couldn't ever relocate. I'm doing a lot of looking at this point, and then it gets cloudy and windy, and I'm struggling, and I'm like, okay, I feel like, and at this point, I am a quarter inch out of the lead. I have 180 inches. Leader has 180, no, it's 181, and he has 181 and a quarter. And I'm like, again, I'm thinking about all the things I did wrong at this point. Like, that fish that went through the net is going through my brain. Like, oh my, am I going to lose by, there's another thing. So I submitted the 20 and a quarter, right? My big fish. It was a 20 and a half, but I managed to take a poor picture of it, so that the ID card wasn't readable. So it's like, sucks. Hey, I can't accept this fish. Can you send me another picture? So I only had one picture of it at 20 and a half. And so it ended up being a 20 and a quarter, which bumped me down a quarter inch. So there's all these things running through my brain, like, Mark, and so I'm regretting my life decisions at this point, quite a bit. I'm starting to lose hope, that I can actually pull it off. And with about a half hour left, there's one little pool below the main launch where I was taking out, and I scoot down there for a little bit. It's pretty dead. I think there's been some people fishing there the day before, and I see a couple smaller fish swimming around, but it was not it. And I'm like, well, this is it, like, and I had this spot throughout the day and even the day before in the back of my mind below the launch, but it was below a set of rapids. And I knew it was going to be a chore to get my kayak back up through there. So I was really not wanting to go down there, even though I knew that there was fish down there.
for the story,
Yeah.
how good is the cell service? Are you worried? Are you going to fish until time's up? Or are you like, I got to get in a truck and get to a McDonald's to be able to upload fish? Like,
I had pretty good cell service.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't struggling with that in that specific spot, so I wasn't too worried about that. So yeah, and you have a half hour buffer, after lines out. So now you had a half hour buffer. You had to be back at the ramp a half hour after. So like, you did have to be back at the ramp, which we'll get to that as well. That was a whole drama. I had a lot of drama. Okay, so like, all right, so we're at 17-minute mark before day's over. Right, day 2, I'm in second place, 181, and honestly, I told myself it's not worth it with this amount of time. Like, I have 17 minutes. I can't go figure out the pool below. Like, I don't know exactly where they're going to be. I don't know if the quality is necessarily going to be there the way I want it to be. Like, I could go down there. But then I'm like, well, I don't have anywhere else to go. Like, where I'm at right now, there's nothing here. Going back up is going to take too long, and I don't even know. Like, I couldn't figure that out earlier, so why would I be able to figure it out now? And literally, kind of a mindless moment, I just turned my trolling motor on high, and I'm going. I'm like, I guess we're going. 17 minutes remaining, and it's nutty, man. Like, I get down there, and 13 minutes remaining, I know this one channel bank that they're going to be somewhere along it. I don't know where, but it's hundreds of yards. It's not small. 5 minutes into the fishing, I catch a 20, and it's that moment. It's like, that's the moment. Like, and I knew it was the moment at that point, but like, that one decision to go down there, it was 17 minutes remaining. That's the whole year. Like, that's okay, this is what we're doing. Like, and I think there's a lot of those. It's amazing how a year can come down to one decision at the end of the last day. Like, cause that's actually what happened. Like, 13 minutes remaining, catch that fish. The drama doesn't end here. I get it in, measure it, I'm feeling more relief because I forgot to put my water and snacks in the boat. So I had not a lick of water or anything to eat all day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Let's just say I'm a little delirious at this point. And then like 5 minutes later, with 7 minutes remaining, I catch a 19, like right below where I just got the 20. I see fish everywhere. And I'm like, Mark, well, you could have done this a little while ago. This would have been much easier, So I submit that fish, and I'm like, I got to get back up. Like, I know I still have a little bit of fishing time, but I've got to get back up because there's like a quarter mile back to the ramp upstream. I got to get back up through these rapids. Like, I don't know how long that's going to take. Anyway, so I get up through the rapids, and I'm banging around. Like, it's not good. Like, I had some mishaps getting back up. Anyway, I get right above the rapids, and suddenly I'm like, I'm just sitting here. Why am I not going anywhere? And I hear my prop is just spinning, and I'm like, oh, this isn't good. Well, I broke my prop pin. At the worst possible time.
Yeah.
So I have like I think it's like 20 something minutes left to get back. And I'm trying to paddle at this point. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I try to paddle and I can't go anywhere. It's upstream and there's pretty strong current. I'm like, I got to change the prop. So I like frantically go to the bank, and I'm trying to get this prop off, and I'm like panicked. Like, because it's all riding on this. If I don't get back, I get DQ'd.
How far are you from the ramp?
I'm like a quarter mile.
Okay.
It's not terribly far, but it's upstream. I can't get back like without
Mm-hmm.
the motor. And I'm like freaking out for a couple minutes trying to get my prop off. It's not coming off. Finally get it off. Trying to replace the prop pin. I have extra pins. I was ready because things like that happen. It's happened to me before. Um, I try to put the prop back on. It's not going on. I can't get it on. And then I look over, and here comes Jordan Welliver up. He was below me. I never even saw him really. He evidently was below me. Actually, he had taken me up the day before. He had shuttled me up to get my car, and I had mentioned about this place, that I was thinking about going, but I had, other stuff I was going to fish. He had a tough first day, and so he evidently went down there. And so he's on his way back, and he's like, "Hey, you need a tow in?" I'm like,
Oh, he saved you.
"Yeah." So, this is, I mean, you can't make some of this up. Like, it's bad. Like, I stuffed my prop on as far as it will go. I can just barely get the nut on, and it actually worked a little bit, and it might have actually gotten me back, but story's better if it doesn't. Anyway, so I get towed back. We get back with 5 minutes remaining, I think, and it's all good. And at this point, there was a little bit of confusion about how the points were working with AOI and things. So Jordan had kind of felt like he'd already won. So, he was hoping I would win the tournament anyway. So, and he was leading AOI at that point, up to that tournament. So, yeah, so he ended up saving me. He saved my butt. Like, I was toast. So we get to the awards, and there was one thing they hadn't that wasn't taken into account as far as the points went, and I had a couple more points than anticipated, and I edged him out by 2 points. I actually felt terrible. I'm like, here he is, he saved me, right? And then I go beat him out for AOI. I'm like, oh, it's terrible. I honestly felt really, like, I didn't know how to feel. I'm like, when they announced it, I'm like, because I thought I had lost it. I thought he still won the AOI. I thought I just won the tournament. But when they announced it, I was shook. I'm like, I don't know how I felt about it. I'm like, man, like, you could have absolutely sabotaged me and like just let me out there, But so shout out to Jordan. That was a good deed that was costly for him, unfortunately, and honestly, like, good on him. That's that's a baller move. Like, I appreciate that a ton.
Great sportsmanship.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and I would have been toast without it. Most likely, I don't know if I could have made it. So, yeah.
You mentioned that you were throwing at fish, or you were. I think you mentioned that you were like sight fishing.
Yeah.
What did most of your damage in the tournament? Were you just pitching just a lightweight plastic, or were you going with more of like the meat and potatoes tube Ned rig kind of vibe?
Yeah, so I would say I was finding fish. I sight fished a couple, but it's really hard to sight fish smallies when they can see you. Like, you're probably going to spook them. I was more trying to find them and then get off of them, mark the spot, come back, let them rest for a second, let them set back up. Right, this is because I didn't practice, this is part of that problem. But so I would come back through an area, and then, like, the last 2 fish, I never saw those fish, those big ones. Like, that was pure, like, when it's your time, because those could have been 15-inch fish, no fish in that specific area. But so I did sight fish some of them. Second day, I didn't sight fish as much because I kind of knew where they were overall. So I don't think I caught one on the second day that I visually saw and then cast to it and it ate. Like I had more stuff marked. I would mark it on the second day and then make a long cast for that area. But yeah, no, I was fishing small soft plastics. I was trying to decide if I was going to give this away or not. Because it's, where is it? I don't know. Oh, there it is. So I was fishing a new, it's a Ned rig, pretty standard setup. I go a little more beefy than some. I was 12-pound test, little silent chaser, BKK.
Why Ned rig? Because I always love this because it's Cowboys versus the Redskins. It's either your team tube or team Ned rig. People generally don't like both. Are you kind of that way? Are you more Ned rig versus tube?
I like the tube at times. I think it's just I had a bait that I wanted to fish.
Fair enough.
And I guess I'm just gonna let it out. Give me 1 second here. It's not like, to me, I don't know how much of it's actually the bait in some of these river situations. Like, it's hard to know. I mean, if you have secret baits, I mean, with smallmouth, I think it's more about hitting them at the right time at the right spot, making sure you're positioned right. So here's the deal. This is a Z-Man fuzzy bugs on a tube head, or sorry, on a Ned. So yeah.
No, I was gonna say, like, yeah, the dice weird hentai stuff is caught. Like, I mean, I won a lot of money last year on that stuff before I kind of let it go. It makes sense though. Like it's stupid looking, but it makes sense.
So
yeah,
I saw this bait, and I'll be honest. So I'll talk about it for a second. It's profile. I did practice with this bait for no, I didn't actually. I didn't cast this one. Never mind. I usually do. I usually have a pond that I go to and like lock in like bite percentage. I won't ever fish a bait that I feel like I can't get solid hookup ratios on. Like, if I can't be consistent with it, and that's, to be honest, big tip for tournament fishermen out here, like get locked in with a bait, a setup that you feel like you can land every fish on, and and put in the time that it takes. And here's the deal. Like, instead of practicing on the river finding fish, I practice with my baits to get them dialed in to feel like I could hook every single fish. And I never lost a fish other than the one that went through the net. Like, which is a big improvement. The Conowingo tournament earlier this year, I was struggling with my Ned rig. And I would say a big reason why I didn't do that well, I think at 11th, I lost too many big fish on a Ned rig. I changed my whole setup. You know, I changed quite a few things. What I liked about this one, this is a Z-Man plastic, right? I didn't lose any of them. I think I broke one off, like on a rock. But so this thing is like, it's not straight. It's got like a bulbous tail, and then it's got like this skinny midsection, and it just gives that hook a bigger bite gap. And I felt like, you know how like sometimes the Z-Man, like the regular TRD you'll occasionally double it up on itself on a fish. Never had that happen. Like the hookup ratios were amazing. That thing was straight every time in its mouth. Like, it's not quite long enough that it can't, for some reason, I think whatever it is, it just doesn't seem to have a problem with kind of like some of the Z-Man problems in a sense.
I need to start trying to do that. I've always, guys, next week, the Patreon full dice video is coming out. And so a little sneak peek of that is drop shot and damn near weightless. I feel like the closer to almost weightless you can have anything with a lot of that hair on it, the better because of how it undulates and stuff. I've never tried to drag it on the bottom before.
Yeah. Well, this is set up. I mean, there's 2 different sizes on that. It's money. Like, I was watching that thing go down, and I'm like, oh yeah. Like, it could be a hellgrammite, it can be a crawfish. It's the perfect little snack size that those smallies love. Like, it's similar to like that 2-inch tube, I would say. Like,
Yeah.
that kind of finesse. I don't know. I thought it was great, and I think it made a difference on maybe some of those bigger fish. I mean, I guess we won't know, but I mean, those fish have seen some baits. Like, they're not the stupidest fish.
I think so, and I always find it fascinating. Is this going to be a fad, or is this something that they can't get conditioned to? Like, we look at a Senko or something like that, or a chatterbait, where it's just they don't get conditioned to it. And I don't know. I think there's that secondary action with dice baits that you can't mimic, because when they breathe on it, it moves. When they push water around it, it moves. Now, the problem is you have to take a sedative to fish this stuff, I think, effectively. It is not a power fishing when you're using hairy baits.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fish these like super slow. I fish it for about maybe 3 feet. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not dragging it a whole cast. Like, I'm fishing a spot, I'm casting again. Like, so I'm power finesse fishing a little bit. Like, I'm not a patient person. Okay. Like,
mm-hmm.
I'm not, people always are like, oh, you're patient to be able to finesse fish. I'm not really. I need to be moving. Like, I don't like anchoring. I don't like, I can do it enough. And sometimes that's the deal. But yeah, I'll power fish a little bit more with something like that. I did try, cause that's like my normal deal in that situation is a 4-inch Senko, completely weightless, little hook, light line. And I tried that, and I tried that in some of these areas where, like in that main area, and it just, I didn't do that much on it. Like, the one spot, I would cast it in there, nothing, and then I would cast this in there, and boom. Like, and I'm like, I don't know why they had a preference. I mean, that little Senko, weightless, I mean, on the river is deadly usually. But
it's a secondary action. I think the best analogy an old guy told me is like, it looks like the old hellgrammite baits. It has all the appendages and stuff, and it just has that extra action to it, I think.
Yeah.
Leader material wise, were you going uber light? Would you try to upgrade it to like 12-pound test to have a little bit more? Like, where did you settle with that?
12-pound tactical P line. It's the abrasion resistance. It's a really tough line. It's not even a leader material, but it's just super tough. And I made the decision. I was thinking about going lighter, but I that's probably the main thing that helped me not lose a fish is bigger leader size, and then constantly checking my line and hook point's major. Like, every other cast, I'm checking my hook point. Just because it just quickly gets dulled. I had a little like a little file, like a little hook sharpener, and yeah, I went. I wasn't as prepared as I should have been as far as the hooks went. I only had like 4 of them, and I'm like, I got to make them last. So, yeah, so I kept them as sharp as I could. I retied a lot. I mean, when you're fishing rock and stuff like that, you have to retie quite a bit.
The net drama, was that a new hole, or was that something that was there and you forgot about it and it got bigger? Like,
I don't want to say that I knew it was there, but I kind of knew it was there. I just didn't think a fish could actually get through it, and then it did.
Yeah.
Or a fish big enough, and I'm like, it literally had. So most of the time when you land them, I mean, they're flat and it's fine, but that one went straight into the net and straight through the hole. I'm like, that was a good aim, smallmouth. Like, my goodness, it was unbelievable. So yeah, I fixed that. So we made sure that didn't happen again. Drama though, man. Like, this whole year between the Potomac event and this event, Man, I've just been like, what's going on out here?
Dude, I mean,
I don't know.
a hell of a season, man. Absolutely a hell of a season.
Yeah.
I gotta ask this question just
Yeah.
cause. What are you doing next year? Do you have a thought about it? Like, I mean, is
yeah. So this was one of my goals this year was to fish some national events. So I fished a couple Bassmaster events. Made my first check at up north. Why can't I think of the name? Big Lake, Champlain. I wanted to actually. I've had scope for a few years now, and I've literally never done anything great on scope. Like I feel like every time it's a scope tournament, I'm scoping them, but then like I haven't been able to win around this region on scope. Not much. Not traditional scoping like you would think. I've done some, but so that was the first like big tournament that I actually did well with scope. And it was a wild tournament like that. I mean, Champlain is a wild place. I mean, 15th place with 94.5 is wild to me. Like
that is wild.
Like that's, I mean, it's a whole nother deal up there though. I mean, it's wild. You know, I'm still learning how to fish the bigger bodies of water and how to break them down. This is overwhelming, you know, and especially when you don't have experience there and you have all these locals and, you know, it's big, you know, there's a lot. I went to Dale Hollow this past year and I got spun out in that tournament. And so I'm still learning, like when it comes to the bigger stage like that, big bodies of water that I have to break down. I remember in that tournament, like I tried to practice in way too many areas, like I spread myself way too thin. I ended up not being able to. Yeah, so I had to learn how to practice better for some of these tournaments. Some of these bodies of water that I fish, I have small areas that I want to be in, and I've won in these small areas, you know. But when you haven't been to a place and you don't know everything in that specific area, like that. For a kayak guy, and especially if you don't have a fast kayak, you can't necessarily pattern fish that well, you know, like you can't just run around. Like,
yeah. And how much can you say, like, this will be a hot take, but can in kayak fishing, you truly pattern fish because you don't have a 250? Like, no matter how fast your kayak is, it's not a 250 Mercury, Yamaha, whatever, where you can just haul ass, you know, up and down, up and down. You got to kind of pick your best area and just do the best you can in general.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't think I've ever really won anything pattern fishing other than like, you can kind of pattern fish in certain conditions on the like Susquehanna. Like they get on certain types of stuff and you can power fish in a big section. That's what I did for that sixth is I threw a buzz bait and just covered water, and I knew kind of the general what they were on, you know. But like I covered a lot of water that day, and so you can pattern fish a little bit in that situation, but like most of the lakes and like the bay and like like I'm hunkered down most of the time. Like the Chesapeake, like I hunkered down in one little area and just soaked it all day. You know, I feel like that's when I do the best. But
kayak wise,
yeah,
you're gonna go same setup next year. What's your thoughts?
It's tough, man. I was thinking about this. Like, I have a kayak that's mediocre at everything. It's not fast. It's not like, oh man, it's tough. Like, but it's also not a riverboat where like you wouldn't want to take that out on a lake. Like, I'm okay on a lake. You know, I have these ridiculous outriggers that I'll put out on a big lake. You know, or sometimes on the river. It's one of those things where I want everything because I fish everything, and so like I'm not necessarily just a river guy, and I love some of these river boats. I think they're great, but I'm not necessarily exclusively a river guy. Like I love the bay. I love the Potomac. I love the, big lakes. I love lake fishing. That's probably more what I like to do more in some ways. I like the river, but I don't like the river because it's hard to fish in my kayak. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I wish I could like the river more. Where I didn't have to like shuttle every time and do a float. I don't love doing floats, but I have to. I can't. It's either that or sit in one spot all day. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is because I'm like, it's not as simple as like, well, what kayak would I want to get? It's like, well, I'm gonna probably want two kayaks, So, and then I'm gonna need a different vehicle and setup and so it's
Yep. It's a domino
it's
effect, man. I feel you.
it's a whole thing. So I'll have to figure that out. I guess I'll have the off season to figure that out, but we'll see.
Yeah. And you got a great off season because this is a feather in the cap to an amazing year.
Truly,
it-
yeah.
Is there anyone we can give a shout out to? Anything you want to promote?
Well, first of all, Jordan Welliver for saving my butt. Um, oh man, yeah. Honestly, there's a couple guys that I've fished with on the river, like the Juniata. Like that's my home river. Brandon Yoder. We're going out. We've been out there a lot of falls, and we've both took spills on the Juniata. We both dumped our kayaks, and it's been tragic. There's a lot of memories there. Not all of them good. Like it's taken a lot from me, so it's nice to actually get something back. So yeah, no, honestly, like I said, I don't. Yeah, I don't have sponsors. Like I don't have a lot of like other than like the people like that have inspired me to fish. Growing up and guys that because I didn't necessarily first get into kayak fishing. I got into like the boater stuff kind of first. I didn't have a boat, but I would go out, Paul Grove, some of these guys that I fished the Conowingo, tournaments with, and I fished as a co-angler for several years on the ABAs. But yeah, no, I mean, as far as people to thank, honestly, I think just the MAKBF guys for putting it on the whole series. Aaron's done a ton of work this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's been kind of doing it solo in some ways, and yeah, I feel for him. Yeah, appreciate him for sticking it through and giving us a really good series. I mean, great places. I love the fisheries. We have some great fisheries. I have some great memories from this past year. Just yeah, we have some. Yeah, I know it can be tough in this region at times, but like even just this past weekend, it's 70, 60 something degrees in the day, perfectly sunny, no wind in the fall on the river. And I'm looking around like, how can I be mad? Like this,
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
is,
I feel
this
ya.
is kind of amazing, catching giant, I caught 3 over 20 this past weekend. I've never done that on that river. I've caught a lot of nice fish, but not that many big ones,
And to do it, like you said, like I kind of your home waterish, like 5 minutes from your house, so to speak, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's an hour away from me, but I would say the other thing with like I've never done that well necessarily, but on the Juniata as I did this past weekend, I've also never fished a tournament on the Juniata, and so I fished it much different than I would on a float, just a casual. I'd be making hay on those small fish schools, and I like fishing for numbers, if I'm fun fishing,
Yeah.
like, sure, I'll go for some big fish, but I want to catch a bunch of fish. So yeah, man, like, yeah, all the leadership at MEKBF, like they were great. But other than that, yeah, I really appreciate, I hope they run it again next year. I'll be there as much as I can, but yeah.
Mark, I really appreciate you coming on today. As always, guys, link in the episode description, everything that we talked about. Please go. I'm going to go put Mark's social media stuff down there. Go give him a follow. And then if you guys want to give me a like and subscribe, go check me out on Patreon, because if it wasn't for you guys, I would be behind a Walmart somewhere homeless. So you guys really, really are literally paying my mortgage right now. I can't thank you guys enough while I look for a new job. And we will see you guys next time on Fishing the DMV. Bye. You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.